Ryan Reynolds is known for his quick wit, charming sarcasm, and somehow always managing to get into the most absurd situations. But what happened on a random Tuesday afternoon in Hollywood took things to a whole new level. It all started when Ryan received a call from his assistant, telling him that the final cut of his latest top-secret action movie, Reckless Justice, was locked in a film studio's editing bay. And of course, because he is Ryan Reynolds, he decided to personally pick up a copy to ensure the studio wasn't cutting out any of his best one-liners. The problem? The studio was on high security lockdown after a recent leak of a major film. The only people allowed access were those with a specific clearance badge and an even more specific retina scan. So, naturally, Ryan would later explain, I decided to do the most logical thing, break in. Step 1. The master plan, which was not really a plan at all. Ryan, being the overgrown child that he is, refused to do things the normal way. Instead of simply calling ahead or waiting for the official approval, he convinced himself that he could sneak into the editing suite like an action hero. And who better to help him execute this completely unnecessary heist than his real-life best friend and former X-Men co-star, Hugh Jackman? Step 2. The disguise, or lack thereof. Dressed in the most stereotypical spy outfit imaginable, a black hoodie, sunglasses indoors, and an earpiece that wasn't even connected to anything, Ryan approached the studio's security gate. Hugh, playing the role of the worst distraction in history, strolled up to the guard and, in his thick Australian accent, said, "Hey, mate, do you know where I can find a decent meat pie around here?" The guard, visibly confused and possibly starstruck, hesitated for just a moment. That was all Ryan needed. He slipped past the checkpoint like a ninja. A very ungraceful, accidentally tripping over a traffic cone kind of ninja. Step 3. The Great Escape, which was also the Great Entrance. Now inside the studio, Ryan had no idea where he was going. He wandered through the halls, waving at confused employees who seemed too afraid to question why Deadpool himself was sneaking around like a raccoon in a garbage bin. After checking 3 wrong doors, one of which led to a Frozen 3 meeting, he finally found the editing bay. The problem? It was locked. Then, as if fate had a personal sense of humor, his own movie's director, James Caldwell, walked in. "Ryan," James said, eyebrows raised, "why are you crouched behind a trash can?" Ryan, without missing a beat, replied, "Oh, just, method acting." James stared at him for a long moment before sighing, swiping his badge, and letting Ryan in. "Just take the footage and don't cause any more chaos." "Me? Chaos?" Ryan grinned. "I would never." Step 4. The slightly unnecessary. Get away with the hard drive in hand, Ryan now had to escape. But as he turned the corner, he saw 2 security guards chatting near the exit. Knowing that walking out like a normal person was too easy, he grabbed a Detective Pikachu movie poster off the wall, held it in front of his face, and casually walked past them. It worked. Because Hollywood security guards have apparently seen weirder things. Outside, Hugh was still talking to the security guard about Australian cuisine. "Listen, I'm just saying, Americans have hamburgers, but what do you guys have that compares to a solid, meat-filled pastry?" Ryan walked up, patted Hugh on the back and said, "Come on, mate, let's go get you that meat pie." The guard, none the wiser, simply nodded. "Have a good day, Mr. Jackman." The aftermath. A lesson in chaos. Later that evening, Ryan posted a video on Instagram holding up the hard drive. "So, in completely unrelated news, I may or may not have stolen my own movie today. But don't worry, everyone. Reckless Justice is safe and sound at my house." The studio executives were furious. The internet, however, loved it. The lesson? When in doubt, just act like you belong. Or, in Ryan Reynolds' case, just act like Ryan Reynolds and nobody will question you. And